Hey guys, on behalf of RCtv TV, we are bringing you Crawl Zone action at the King of the Hammers.
And this is Nobody with Mr. Crawl Zone.
And we're going to bring you all the action right here in Hammertown, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. This is RCtv with Crawl Zone TV.
Brian said that he just got off the phone with Victor Bunnis of Crawltech Racing and said that there was a seat for me in his rig for the Everyman Challenge. I'm really not sure how I felt. It was kind of a shock moment. I really had never considered racing. Every time we film the stuff, I'm thinking, oh, that might be cool to be out there doing that stuff. But the thought had never really occurred to me that that could happen. So there was a moment of disbelief, I guess. But then as it sank in, I just got this chill of excitement of like, how cool would that be to not only be racing, but out here at the Hammers, to be in the Everyman Challenge, to tackle one of the hardest courses possibly in the world.
Me and John have been racing since 2011 with the rock crawling series, then the dirt riot series, and then just twice here at the Hammers. When we was in Colorado, we hit a bump a little too hard and decided that was probably not so good for him. And so we switched John out of the car and got a new co-pilot, Nathan Riddle.
Brian called me. First thing I think of is what a cool video this is gonna make if I'm racing in Hammers. Then the realization hits, I've never raced. I don't know how to do this. I've seen it, I've filmed it, I've been there at a lot of great events, but I've never raced. And so then a little bit of the nerves started setting in, but I'm like, I've got months. I'll figure it out.
Oh, you better hurry.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We're pretty proud of it. Thank you.
I would be.
Yeah.
So you just got done racing yesterday,
Yeah.
third overall
Yeah.
in stock class.
Yeah.
Freaking amazing.
It's pretty freaking amazing. It really is.
A stock class has never taken an overall podium.
No, well, a stock class hardly ever even finishes.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, podiums.
We actually raced. Mr. Crawl Zone got to ride side saddle in a race 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And no cars finished. And the year before that, no cars finished. And then you come in and take third overall in the race.
Yeah. It was a really great day. I mean, I think our biggest accomplishment was passing 80 cars in the first lap before we even got to any of the stock bypasses. So that means a lot on
crazy.
how well the car was built. Savvy did a really great job in building the car and Fox shocks, tuning them. Like, that's one of the biggest things that I think people really forget. I mean, even though you're in a stock class, you still have to tune.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's a big deal. And I think because of that, the car just floated.
You're racing the very next day and you're going for the big show.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Well, we had a pretty tough qualifying round. I rolled in the qualifying course, so we, in a sense, DNF. So we're starting in the back of the pack. But we started 117th yesterday.
Right.
Today we're 89th, so I'm going to have the silver lining on that one.
There you
and in
go.
fact, this exact same car did the same thing 3 years ago with Randy Slauson behind the wheel, started in the back of the pack and took the crown. So I'm just going to channel my inner Randy Slauson. And I'm going to try to do everything I can to pass as many people as we can before we even get to the rocks. And then once we get to the rocks, just keep it clean.
Because there's a lot of good cars and a lot of good people.
My biggest worry is everybody in front of me. Everybody in front of me. I mean, there's a lot of really great drivers out there.
There really are.
A lot of really great drivers. This class is some of the best of the best. But, you know, those top 20 drivers, those are the guys that I'm always looking out for. And, I'm considered to be a top 20 driver.
Right.
You know, I finished 12th place last year in the unlimited class, and I think that it's going to be one of those things that once I get to the front of the pack, it's going to start getting really interesting.
You know this course is hard. I mean,
This is my ninth KOH.
so it's not nothing new to you.
No.
So I mean, you're right in there with that group of you've got seat time on the Hammers.
Yes.
You've done this in a stock car already.
Stock
just
car,
the day before.
spec car, stock modified car,
Yeah.
and on the unlimited class.
So I mean, you're right in there
Yeah.
with the people that we're watching, going,
Yeah.
who's gonna take the crown? So I'd love to be queen of the Hammers. That'd be awesome.
That'd be an interesting switch, right?
So we're rooting for you.
Right on.
So congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
You bet. Hey, this is Nobody from Crawl Zone TV. We will be right back.
If you or a loved one has taken Nexium, Prilosec, Prevacid, or these other common heartburn drugs and have been diagnosed with kidney failure, acute interstitial nephritis, dialysis, or kidney biopsy, give us a call now. If any of these injuries were diagnosed after using a PPI, you may be eligible for financial compensation from the manufacturer. Call the Rely On Group now at 800-715-0710. That's 800-715-0710.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-833-7528.
You're watching Race Central TV right here on the premier home for motorsports. And follow us, Facebook, it's Kurt Hansen's Race Central TV, Kurt Hansen's Race Central Media. Again, follow the theme here on Twitter at Race Central. And for all of our great friends down in the Valley of the Sun, Race Central AZ. And, you know, for the radio folks, go to racecentralmedia.com. Find out about all of our radio partners and our new programming in Arizona at racecentralmedia.com.
We started with a 95 Grand Cherokee because there are coil springs in the rear. Pretty easy to go faster in the desert because it's not leaf springs. And then during 2013, we built it so we could race at the Everyman Challenge. We had to build a new cage in it, lighten it up quite a bit. For this year, we put a new fuel cell in, moved all the fuel system to the rear. We put in the batteries in the back to help weight the back instead of the front. And then we've also replaced a wheel because we bent one wheel. We replaced all the transmission lines, transmission coolers. Seems to handle the desert really good, but just a little bit too big in the rocks.
Now, in preparation for this event, I wouldn't have been prepared at all without my buddy John. He's part of the Crawl Tech team. They've been doing this forever. And of course, part of the core team of Crawl Zone.
I've known Nathan since we were in 5th grade together when I moved to Kanab, Utah, and we've been friends ever since. About the same time that Victor and I decided to start racing, Nathan, myself, and his brother Brian, who does all of our editing and does a lot of our camera work, kind of got together and decided we wanted to form Crawl Zone.
We were at the Hump and Bump, and John got me in the seat with the Cherokee and took us on a couple of trails, let me drive, let me feel how the Cherokee moved, what it could do, what it couldn't do. Vic had done an amazing job of getting the rig ready so that the days before while we were out here, other than just little minor tuning, everything was ready to go. So there wasn't the stress of, oh, it's broke, we gotta fix it. It was all there. It was calm. Vic's calm anyway, that dude's awesome. And he just brought this really chill feeling about the whole thing. So I really wasn't nervous. The Monday before the race, we were able to go out. I was able to sit in the seat. I figured out how to run the navigation equipment. We talked about different courses, different tracks, how the vehicle was running, and the things that would become challenges that we need to work through.
We kind of discussed as a group that the challenge was to actually complete the race and to not beat the vehicle up too much, to try to get through everything with everything being intact.
Things were working good, hammering down, and then it was race day.
Truck is a 1977 F-150 turned full buggy. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Built it all myself. It's been 3 years in the making. A lot of learning curves, especially what I do in the future. So far, everything has far exceeded my expectations. I'm very proud of what I've built, and it seems to perform really well. The idea was a simple build, but with simple comes compromises, and I wasn't willing to make compromises. I wanted what I want, and I wanted to do it right the first time. So I went all out, and this here is the final product, and very happy with the payoff. Other than that, just start hitting up some of the biggest wheeling scenes out there and just enjoy it.
Attention type 2 diabetics. The FDA warns of an increased risk of amputation associated with diabetes medications. If you took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation, call the Rely On group right now. If you've suffered amputations after taking your diabetes medication, call the Rely On group today. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA has recently warned about an increased risk of leg and foot amputations associated with the use of diabetic medications such as Invokana and Invokamet. If you or a loved one took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation, call the Rely On group now. We are here to help you get the justice you deserve. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. If you or a loved one took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation, call 800-304-2637. That's 800-304-2637.
Non-attorney spokesperson. Attention! Have you been seriously injured or has a loved one been killed in a motor vehicle accident?
Call 800-236-0959.
You may be entitled to compensation. Personal injuries can happen at any point in your lifetime, and in a few seconds, you or a loved one may suffer debilitating injuries that could change your life forever.
Call 800-236-0959.
For a free consultation, you may be entitled to compensation.
Pandora was a very special part of our lives. She actually got us into the Jeeping community. We got to meet a lot of new people, got into the industry because we bought this Jeep that we called Pandora. We built her up last year, spent a lot of time, a lot of years and just effort getting her put together, and one day she decided she was done and she went up in smoke, and we had to rebuild. We had to start over, and we got the awesome opportunity to buy Phoenix off of a friend who built her very well. Honestly, it was very, very tough. We didn't know how we were going to get through that. We were looking forward to opening the new shop, and it was a setback for a little while, but we did overcome, and I think we actually came out stronger and a little bit further ahead from the experience.
We're here at the lineup for the Everyman Challenge. We're in the stock class. We're here at the end. We signed up late, so we're going to be one of the last Jeeps off the line, but that's all right. We're only here to finish the race. We're not worried about winning it. We just want to cross that finish line. So we've done some last-minute checkovers on the Jeep. John and Vic have gone over every little thing that could be done, and we're ready to rock and roll. We're going to be standing here in the cold for about an hour. After that, it's off the starting line and onto the race.
Here at the Everyman Challenge 4600 race, we're going to be starting last and hopefully finish in the middle or a little sooner than the middle.
This is my first race. I don't know how it's going to go down, so.
Yeah.
When you pull up to the start line and you realize you're really going to take off in this race and go, I think the adrenaline starts going. You start thinking, okay, I got to be careful with the gas pedal because I'm going to tear the car apart. And you're just trying to keep calm enough to where you don't drive it to destroy the car.
We are the underdog team. We are position 19 out of 20, so we're in the back of the line. We get there, we get hunkered up, There's excitement, there's chill in the air. We're idling down the thing, we're getting ready, and then Vic looks over and he says, "Do you have your crotch strap on?" And I'm like, "You got one of those?" I'm like, "No," and John's like, "You don't?" And I'm like, "No, don't worry about it." And he's like, "No, no, no," and he comes over. John busts open the door. We're like 2 cars away from the starting line, getting ready to take off. And John unhooks everything and hooks me up right and looks at my helmet and says, "That's a mess," and makes sure everything's ready and buckles me back up just in time for us to roll out through the start line.
Your pet leaves fur wherever he goes, and it's impossible to clean when it gets on your clothes. Not anymore! Introducing the Hurricane Fur Wizard, an all-new extra-large lint brush that picks up fur and lint with ease, then cleans up instantly with a self-cleaning base. Fur Wizard is faster because of the double-sided action. It cleans up twice as much in half the time of other lint brushes. Plus, with just one dip, both sides are cleaned up quick, and just remove the base clip to empty. Look, a tape roller needs so many sheets, while just a few swipes of Fur Wizard easily cleans the entire surface. No refills are ever needed. Use it over and over again. Get your Hurricane Fur Wizard for just $19.99. But wait, call now and you'll also get the Fur Wizard Mini absolutely free. Perfect for quick on-the-go cleanups. It has a self-cleaning base too. But wait, call now and you can get a second complete Fur Wizard set. Just pay separate fee. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-239-2599 to get your Fur Wizard. Call or visit buyfurwizard.com. So call 1-800-239-2599. Order now.
When you have credit card debt, the debt suckers, high rate and high pay, never leave you alone.
Debt is really sucking the life out of them. He's picking up the phone.
Oh, no, not Consolidated Credit.
With one call, they can lower their credit card rates.
And consolidate their bills into one low payment.
They'll pay off their debt in no time.
Call Consolidated Credit now.
Because debt sucks.
Call 800-990-8515. 800-990-8515.
I'm Race Central Insider and Motorsports Insider Kurt Hansen. For everything that we do, though, follow us on the web at RaceCentralMedia.com. I want to remind you, too, the Race Central Radio Network, every Friday night from 6 to 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's FM 93.7, AM 1510, and streaming around the globe at RaceCentralMedia.com. Click on that little Listen Live link, and you're good to go. Best damn motorsports show you're ever going to see. We're the home for gearheads, for motorsports, for everything. It's Race Central TV. I'm Insider Kurt Hansen. We're going to get going right now.
So after taking off, we're along the race course, and I'm watching the little pink line and making sure that the little triangle stayed in the right place. And we were off through the desert, and we got that bugger up to 85 miles an hour or something and just across the desert. Got some rocks, and I'm looking for whoops, and we're kind of pounding along. And I was surprised how many vehicles we saw already broken down within the first 10, 20 miles. There was vehicles off the side of the road. So that was pretty exciting, just passing through everybody right away.
They went through pit 1 without anything. That's out on the course. So we went over to the start pit and we waited for quite a while. We finally heard Mr. Crawl Zone, Nathan, come across the radio telling us where they were. Got pretty excited, had everything ready, fuel sitting out, tarps to keep any kind of fuels or damage from the land out.
Anyway, we're set to take off here, so.
As I was putting the hood back on, the car died, and trying to figure out what was going on. They tried to restart it. I told them, I'm pretty sure you had a fuel.
Cherokee was using a lot more fuel than we anticipated, so we hurried and put enough fuel in there to get us to pit 2A, and off we went.
They actually beat us to pit 2A, the remote pit, and so we were really, as a group, we were really pretty excited about that. They beat us probably by about 4 or 5 minutes.
We need to get some fuel on the vehicle because we ran out of fuel at the last pit. So we grabbed extra fuel back at camp, brought it out. Their locker line was leaking before. It's not leaking, but we gave them extra air line for their locker, for the ARB on the front. And they took that with them. Checked the tranny's not leaking anymore. I believe it was just some overflow coming out from being overfilled. So we're looking good and they're back on the trail.
we got into the first section of rocks, the vehicle was still working really good. We got into this next section of rocks and we noticed the steering was starting to be a little bit weird. So we got out and started looking at it, and it tore the whole track bar frame piece out of the unibody. So the whole unibody on that side is pretty much just cracked, and the steering box is almost free floating at that time.
All right, so we just came down a pretty gnarly obstacle, and we ended up tearing the frame and the steering box off the frame. See right here, the whole unibody has been torn, twisted, and mangled.
We ended up using a winch to pull it all back together, and it seemed to work for quite a while. Got us into the next section of trails.
Oh! Tyler, you gotta keep the slack out of the road.
I think we were coming down Wrecking Ball, coming off this ledge going around this other Jeep, and when we hit the bottom, I heard something hiss. Ended up being a hole big enough you could stick your hand through the side of the tire.
That's when it was over for us, I think. We were going along, we were trying to limp it through, but it kept getting pegged on rocks. Just that flat tire, the rocks would come in, hold the tire down, and we were trying to push our way through, but that's kind of where things fell apart.
When the recovery crew showed up, it was kind of a relief, but it is a moment of defeat. I really thought we was gonna finish it this year. Everything was going really good until the tire. So I'm gonna keep trying until we finish.
This race is the king of all races. This race was originally founded by some guys who were having a little argument over whether or not desert racing was harder or rock crawling was harder, and both of them were kind of saying, well, you guys don't have to do nothing, you just have to go fast in the desert, and the rock crawling guys are going, it's easy to go fast in the desert, but climbing up rocks is a whole different story. And so they said, you know what, we're gonna make a race where it incorporates both. Well, very quickly, the racing guys from the desert found out, holy crap, those rocks are tearing our vehicles up. And the guys from the rock crawling industry going, holy crap, those guys are wasting us 130 miles an hour in the desert. So a whole new breed of car had to be built just for the King of the Hammers.
I feel great. There was the top three coming through all within about 5 minutes of each other after 8 hours of grueling racing. So there's still a lot of cars out there. There's only about 20 cars that have started their third lap. So I'll be surprised if more than 20 cars finish this race. It's been long and brutal, but we're almost done. Another one in the books.
Now that the race is over, I don't know how I feel. It was so surreal. It's hard to think that I actually did it, but now I'm like, yeah, I want to drive next time, and I want to get a young man to move the rocks. It was a thrill. It was a ball. I had a great time out here. Vic was awesome. The team was awesome. There is nothing better than saying I competed in the Everyman Challenge and I took on the Hammers.